Fans expect to see career-making performances, astonishing saves, and exciting eliminations in the Royal Rumble match. But there's a flip side to that, those moments when an entrant wipes out completely. Titus O'Neil had possibly the most viral moment of the 2018 Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia when he entered the match at number 39 out of 50. Seemingly overly excited to get down the ramp, O'Neil tripped and slid right under the ring in a moment that's now known as Titus World Slide, a play on the name of the star's Titus Worldwide faction. His slide has inspired countless memes over the years, and it's a moment, despite not being in the annual January Royal Rumble, that fans and commentator Corey Graves will never forget.
I've watched wrestling for 30 years.
Yeah.
And that is possibly the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
O'Neil took the botch in stride, telling Fightful in 2023, "It's one of those things that, in life, much like in a lot of stuff that happened in my life, I tell people all the time, I fell down and gotten back up so many times. I'm still alive and well to tell the story. And I'm an entertainer at the end of the day, so I don't really have anything to be embarrassed about. I got paid a lot of money to fall under the ring and survive." Despite his unbeatable Super Cena reputation, John Cena makes mistakes like anyone else. He's had not one, but two mishaps in Rumble matches. In 2004, Cena was thrown over the top rope by Big Show and landed awkwardly on his leg. Though he didn't miss any TV time and was wrestling shortly after the botch, Cena revealed in an interview he actually tore his MCL. The biggest fail of Cena's Royal Rumble career, however, came in the infamous ending to the 2005 match, when both he and Batista went over the top rope at the same time, with both of their feet hitting the floor. Batista attempted a Batista bomb, and Cena countered with the head scissors, and the momentum sent both of them over. Batista was meant to win the match, and ended up being declared the winner after Vince McMahon stormed into the ring and ordered Batista and Cena to restart their portion of the match. While we're talking about the 2005 Rumble debacle, Vince McMahon was one of its biggest losers after he legitimately tore both of his quads when he came down to the ring to restart the match between Cena and Batista. McMahon came out to settle things after referees for both Raw and SmackDown began arguing about who won the match. McMahon's knees got caught on the apron when he tried to get in the ring, causing the injuries. The visual fans were left with was McMahon sitting in the ring, hanging onto the ropes, barking orders at the wrestlers and referees. In a 2022 interview with Pat McAfee, McMahon seemed to take the injury in stride.
Not too many people can, sever, the quad tendons at the same time. that takes talent.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is the only person to ever win 3 Royal Rumble matches, but he had a share of Rumble mishaps too. The first time he failed in a Royal Rumble was when he was still known as the Ringmaster, and it's a botch that could have completely changed the course of his career if things had gone a little differently. In the 1996 Rumble match, Austin was meant to finish 4th. Austin has since explained in interviews and on his podcast that Rikishi gave him a clothesline, and the ropes were so slippery from sweat and oil that he slipped and went over the top rope way early. Thankfully, Austin was able to change up his persona to the Stone Cold character soon thereafter. If there was one WWE legend who was absolutely terrible in Royal Rumble matches, it was Randy Savage. In 1991, Savage actually never made it into the match, though he was supposed to be entrant number 18. Savage helped Sergeant Slaughter beat the Ultimate Warrior for the WWE title earlier that night, so Warrior chased him out of the building, causing Savage to completely miss the Rumble match. In 1992, after eliminating Jake the Snake Roberts, Savage hopped out over the top rope after him, technically eliminating himself. Commentator Gorilla Monsoon covered for him, saying wrestlers needed to be thrown out of the ring by someone else to be eliminated. In perhaps the most memorable spot of all, in 1993, Savage seemed to forget he was in a Rumble match. Rather than attempting to throw Yokozuna over the top rope, Savage tried to win the match via pinfall. Unsurprisingly, the Macho Man never won a Royal Rumble match. Chelsea Green has made quite an impact in the women's tag team division since her return to WWE with her Karen gimmick, but her first Royal Rumble match left much to be desired. Green returned to the company as the surprise number 20 entrant in the 2023 Rumble match, but she was immediately eliminated by Rhea Ripley. Green holds the record for the shortest time in a women's Royal Rumble, lasting a mere 5 seconds. It may be a record for all the wrong reasons, but it was something Green embraced after it happened, telling Post Wrestling, "Look, that 5 seconds of fame is gonna last forever, because I did set a record. It might not have been a record that I wanted, but I set a record, and I'm about to be in the record books, and they are about to have replay clips of me for years to come." Santino Marella holds the record for the fastest elimination in the Men's Royal Rumble with his appearance in the 2009 match. Marella entered from the number 28 spot, but was eliminated by Kane with lightning speed. Kane immediately clotheslined Marella, knocking him right back out of the ring. The official time for Marella clocked in at 1.09 seconds. Marella's exasperated "I wasn't ready" to the referee at ringside is something many fans remember about the iconic Rumble fail.
Do you think you could have done that even faster?
I know how to beat the record. I'm the only one that knows how to do it.
One of the most infamous moments in WWE women's history was at the Divas Battle Royal at WrestleMania 25. Santino, in the guise of his twin sister, Santina, won the match. As WWE moved into and through the Women's Revolution, it was a match and character that left a bad taste in many fans' mouths. Yet Santina returned in the 2020 Royal Rumble match, just the third Women's Rumble match in history, to the groans of fans. Many thought Marella's character was taking up a spot of a much more deserving woman. Marella got in the ring and was cornered by Natalya and Beth Phoenix, thus choosing to jump over the top rope and self-eliminate. Shane McMahon has appeared in a few Rumble matches, but 2022 is regarded as one of the worst matches in event history, due in part to Shane O'Mac's reported backstage politics. The heat was enough for McMahon to reportedly be fired by his father following the match. Shane McMahon was an entrant in the Rumble match, but he was also the lead producer and writer. There was reportedly heat on McMahon for the way he took charge of the booking in an attempt to make the match all about himself. McMahon entered the match at number 28, but it was supposed to be Randy Orton who entered from the spot. Reportedly, Orton was set to enter the match, but McMahon's "Here Comes the Money" entrance music played, and Orton said he was absolutely not entering to the music, so McMahon had to enter the match a spot early. The botch was reportedly so funny to Orton, he was almost on the ground laughing backstage. Shane lasted just around 5 minutes in the match before being tossed out by Brock Lesnar. The boss's son was supposedly set to be at WrestleMania 38 in some capacity before his firing, but of course, that all changed. Even with his massive size, the Great Khali's track record in Royal Rumble matches isn't the best. In 2007, the big man seemed to forget where the hard camera was during the match, taunting toward the crowd on the opposite side following a spree of eliminations. Shawn Michaels, who was at that point laid out on the edge of the ring, had to noticeably break character to shout and point out the hard cam to Khali, who then turned around. In 2010, Beth Phoenix became the second woman to enter the Men's Royal Rumble match, the first being China in 1999. Phoenix kissed Khali to distract him before eliminating the Punjabi playboy from the match. Rey Mysterio didn't technically do anything wrong or botch any moves or eliminations in the 2014 Royal Rumble match. It was just the fact he entered at number 30 and wasn't Daniel Bryan at the height of the Yes movement that led to a chorus of boos for the otherwise beloved luchador, who only lasted just over 2 minutes in the match. The crowd had been chanting for Bryan throughout the match while CM Punk, Batista, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns were brawling in the ring. Bryan, however, lost to Bray Wyatt earlier on in the show and was not featured in the Rumble match at all, much to the disappointment of fans who were clamoring for Daniel Bryan. Batista, or as some fans would call him, Bootista, won his second Rumble match after 4 years away from the company.
They rebel. They know what you're trying to do. You're being shoved down their throat. They're not idiots.
Kofi Kingston is known for jaw-dropping safe spots in the Royal Rumble matches, where his feet don't touch the floor, and he's able to get back in the ring through impressive acrobatics. He's used his teammates to break falls and even used one of the commentators' chairs to keep his feet off the floor. The spots are often a highlight of the Rumble, and Kingston had been surprisingly successful with them for over a decade, until 2022 that is. During that year's lackluster Rumble match, Kingston's luck ran out. He jumped up to the top rope from the apron of the ring, and Kevin Owens shoved him, sending Kingston flying toward the ring barricade, where he hit chest first. Both of Kingston's feet touched the floor, however, and it was acknowledged by commentary that he had been eliminated. Though disappointed, it's something Kingston took the mistake in stride, telling the New York Post, "You're bound to mess one up. That's just the way things go." Alex Riley was the victim of a botched elimination in the 2011 Royal Rumble that almost ruined his mentor The Miz's feud with John Cena. Riley was in the corner, being beaten up by Kofi Kingston and Cena. While straddling the top rope, Riley fell from the apron and onto the floor in an elimination that wasn't meant to happen so early. Riley was meant to eliminate Cena to further the top guy's feud with The Miz. Cena looked visibly shocked and had to be told by the referee what to do next. To save the angle, The Miz, who wasn't even in the Rumble match because he was WWE champion at that point, was the one to eliminate Cena off the distraction from Riley, who came back to ringside. The 2024 Royal Rumble will bring CM Punk full circle in WWE. Punk's last Rumble match took place 10 years ago, in 2014. In his last Rumble match, Punk entered first and lasted the longest in the match, at just under 50 minutes. He was, however, eliminated by Kane, who had already been eliminated from the match himself. Kane didn't just pull Punk over the top rope, he also chokeslammed him through the announcer's desk. Punk walked out of WWE the following day, January 27, 2014, over a myriad of issues with the company, including various issues allegedly involving Punk's health.
I got a concussion in the Royal Rumble. It's pretty goddamn obvious. I knew I had a concussion. Everybody knew I had a concussion.
Since his return, the Second City Saint has declared for the 2024 match. With the 2024 Rumble taking place on January 27, 2024, Punk could very well win the Rumble 10 years to the day he walked out of WWE. There have been various production botches and Royal Rumble matches that deserve some special recognition here. One of the most glaring came in 2016, with the surprise debut of AJ Styles. The broadcast didn't show the phenomenal one walking out onto the stage. They rather focused on the confused expression of Roman Reigns while Styles' music played. It's something that's been corrected with additional footage on Peacock, but we remember. Bad camera choice struck again when Edge made a shocking return in the 2020 match, with his first spear since being forced to retire years earlier being totally missed by the cameras. Another egregious botch came during the Women's Royal Rumble match in 2023. Nia Jax made her return to the company at the number 30 spot, but her music played before the countdown even started. In interviews since, Jax joked that someone was overly excited for her return and prematurely played her music.